Unsurprising, Gen.G want to put a lot of priority as we are immediately seeing heavy targeting here. We've dropped so many of the normal bans that have come throughout this tournament, things like the Senna, things like the Lucian. Instead, target bans for Chovy on one end with the Corki and the Ace, so Azir might follow suit as well. And then the flip side, Bin and the Taliyah for Knight.
This might be an Ahri first pick for Gen.G. And you're also setting up for a K'Sante blind with Vayne and Jax taken away. Unless they're thinking about a Twisted Fate, with so many AD carries available, they choose to leave the Ahri open. A message being sent by Chovy saying, go ahead, pick your best champion. I'm ready to fight against it.
Incredibly bold call out the triple man from BLG as well, trying to limit some of those Chovy champions, trying to limit some of those control mages he has been so damn good on. But now the response coming in, instant Senna lock in a champion that's usually banned. The only team really playing it at the tournament consistently is T1. We'll see how Gen.G want to leverage this pick if it's going to be a lane swap situation, as BLG pretty comfortable making the Kalista response.
Big thing here for Gen.G is that they won't be able to lock in both an Ahri Vi combo, which we talk about BLG playing it, and they're not going to get the opportunity. I don't think this comes as a shocker.
No.
Knight locks it in, and Gen.G has got to know that this was coming, meaning that it's going to be the Nautilus here for Lehends empowered, but if they're not going to take away the fight either, the mid lane matchup is going to be a nightmare.
Twisted Fate locked in, blind picking this. What is the response here from BLG? Have they added anything else to their pool? Do we see a potentially volatile topside matchup? Of course, I love that we're seeing the Ahri. It's a big call out from the side of Gen.G to let it through. We mentioned it and you heard it in the video moments ago. This is a battle for who is the best mid laner in the world. And if you want to beat this man straight up, you're gonna have to be willing to give him his picks.
I mean, I wasn't expecting Ahri to be given over to Knight, and you mentioned earlier, like, excited. Who isn't excited to see Knight on his champion? You know, like, it's going to be exciting. Really, let's see how the rest of the draft plans out, because the focus here has been on the bot lane, as you'd expect, many drafts we've seen. I wonder if you already talked about the potential swap. Gen.G, I don't think they want to swap by prioritizing the Twisted Fate. Mid-wall can continue to be pinched here by BLG. What has Chovy prepared for Knight's Ahri?
I imagine even more bans are going to come through here. They're going to try and target ban him out. And already, I think for BLG, this is close to a best case scenario. You have an incredibly strong 2v2 for Elkin on. You have Knight on his comfort pick. I imagine Gen.G are going to ban out the Vi here to at least deny that combo. And it does come through. I think that is basically unplayable no matter what you lock in the mid lane here. But Gen.G also have got to know that this is coming. We'll see what their response is going to be when we get to the last half of the draft.
I mean, you're looking at Lee Sin Jarvan, maybe, for the side of BLG. Yeah. Their pick potential is already exceptional. By going Lee, it gives you a very powerful mid-jungle duo. I mean, we saw that from T1 earlier in the tournament. They can also go for the Xin Zhao for sure, and if they want to, there's a lot of flexibility. They're the ones actually choosing to ban away the Lee Sin. I wonder if this is heavily suggesting that BLG is looking at the Jarvan, knowing that Lee is often a good answer into it.
Also, there is no Kench, no one to get that Senna out of the Cataclysm. Peyz hasn't had the best tournament so far, and as a result, immediately Gen.G identified that as well.
But now you're looking at a Xin pick for
it's gotta be.
Set up for early action. Bit concerning for the side of Gen.G. When you look at BLG, when you look at their big strengths, it is how incredibly successful their early games have been. And if the story becomes weathering the storm against BLG, a fantastic early game team with fantastic early game picks, gets a little bit concerning for the side of Gen.G. That said, Xin the prediction. No bans, follow-up bans spent on top lane, interestingly, to try to give the TF a better matchup. Instead, the Sejuani, very active early pick for Shun thus far this tournament, relatively safe as well.
I was about to say they could just lock in top here, but there's always the possibility that TF goes mid. While it is improbable, they're potentially respecting that opportunity for a flex, and so by locking in the Sejuani, you can at least assure that Bin knows what he is playing into. The Viego going to be locked in for Canyon. So in terms of front line, so far only the Nautilus.
K'Sante feels the most obvious here for BLG as a final pick, but we need to know what is Chovy going to play into this Ahri.
I'm at the edge of my seat if I was sitting, because
this is 100% Gen.G. Should have been able to read this draft the moment that they left up that pick. What is it going to be here for Chovy?
Okay, so they're just going to keep it stock standard, nothing too special. The Orianna making her way through the draft, a champion we often see banned because of how powerful it is. And Bin, will we see him on a carry? Yes, we will. Camille for Bin in the top lane.
And it was one of the evolutions we knew we would see in the context of this series as top lane picks. Both Kiin and Bin, so much access to K'Sante, so much priority on the pick, but against each other, things are getting mixed up. Kiin's second game on the Twisted Fate, Bin's first Camille game this tournament has been incredibly powerful if we can get that lead, but in a lot of games, it's needed some time to get to 2 items. Could be a risky call.
I like BLG's draft a lot. I feel like they've got a lot of what they love to leverage. A very powerful bot lane 2 versus 2, good dive setup, great pick potential. I'm expecting Gen.G to do a swap because you have to try and avoid the early aggression that we're going to be seeing from BLG, but whether or not they will by voluntarily picking the Twisted Fate early is yet to be seen. We know that TFs are kind of used to being swapped on at this point, so they have a lot of experience in that situation, but wow, a fascinating draft. Gen.G have chosen to give BLG everything that they wanted.
For Gen.G, specifically the Senna Nautilus combo was what got them the one loss that they had. In the LCK, it was when it was brought out to them, when the Senna just started coming up. They value it so highly that they give over things like the Kalista, give over the Ahri, and we'll see whether that Gambit ends up paying off, because this, as you're saying, is a ton of comfort for BLG. The team fighting from Gen.G, particularly with a farming up Lehends, obviously great. Is that going to be enough?
Peyz' first game on the Senna thus far this tournament, 5 games at Kalista, the clear priority at every turn for Gen.G. Usurping that expectation, changing the narrative a bit, giving it over to the side of BLG. So many questions going to get answered here in game 1. Gen.G with a new approach in the draft, setting Chovy up for last pick, giving him the Ori. Is it enough to bring home game 1?
30 seconds until minions.
And gentlemen,
We need to talk
about support items.
about Lehends' item.
Of course, this was hit heavily multiple times. So many reasons that this option has been taken down a notch. It's been a while since we've seen double support, but Gen.G, it seems, cooking in scrims, have an angle to try to get maximum value out of this.
Minions have spawned.
I imagine that means they're going to try and share the farm as much as possible to try and get out, but this specific strategy was hit so heavily on the patches leading up to this.
I mean, they've nerfed it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
You used to be able to do this, go back, buy a Doran's. You used to be able to maybe go back and buy an additional item, but of course, you no longer immediately get 3 stacks if you buy it later in the game. This has been hit repeatedly, so we'll need to take a look at the relative gold income coming through for the side of Gen.G to kind of ascertain if this is still viable. Just
to clarify, minion gold penalty now accounts for all champions that have a support item instead of each individual user, right? So like that was the nerf that came all the way back on 14.2 to try and nip this in the bud.
Yeah, this is the classic Rito nerf, like the top lane armor that was supposed to stop lane swaps, and here we are a million years later. Well, it's just a couple patches later, and BLG gonna figure out how to respond to this one. For now, Peyz and Lehends.
We're going to know pretty quickly, because one of 2 things is going to happen. Either Lehends is going to go back on his first base and sell it, or he's going to keep it. But can't imagine if he ends up making a mistake, and if it wasn't intentional, would be absolutely huge, as we do see the lane swap come through here, unsurprisingly. But it's BLG that sets it up.
For now, Elk uncontested on the top side of the map, keeping that push forward. The devil's advocate argument at this point is it gives you a lot of push with double stacks early to get the tower into the wave, something Senna normally lacks in the context of a lane swap, but we'll have a chance to break it down, and I'm sure the AD will talk about it as well. On a Knight, trying to zone Chovy back. The wonderful presence of Ashe level 1 volley to come in harass, but luckily the minions are there to body block for Chovy, as there's a bit of trading here. Bin only level 1. Impact said in an interview early in the tournament, you know, in these lane swaps, top laners are unemployed, and right now Bin just trying to find a job on the map.
Certainly is. Plate being secured by Peyz. Kiin going to make his way down as well. The siege being matched by BLG on the top side. Overall, slightly favored for Gen.G right now, mainly just because Kiin is also being funneled a bit of experience. Canyon able to clear out. He's actually contesting. Well, there are no camps remaining on the top side. Keep your eyes on Bin hovering around the mid lane as well. But ultimately, small advantage gained for Gen.G. As Bin tries to get what XP he can as he's hovering around mid lane, and now he's going to path back towards top and catch that wave.
We'll see how this 2v2 plays out. That's one of the things where BLG coming into the series, given how well Elkanon have played, are expected to have a really, really big lead in this 2v2. Amount of pressure they've been able to generate in so many of BLG's games, then capitalized on by Shun, is something that not many teams can deal with. For now, as you point out, Vedi, small lead here for Gen.G. Kiin should be able to catch the wave towards top side as well, as Bin is trying to push in, but obviously pre-TM Camille not going to do too good of a job at that.
Bit of a struggle. Kiin still not level 2. We'll be able to walk up and pick up a bit of experience here on the top side. Shun doesn't look like he's going to look there for now, focus on clearing out his own camps as Knight and Chovy just continue to trade in the mid lane.
Looks like Lehends has in fact sold his support item. Now picked up a bit more defense. So okay, a bit of an early investment and a move away from it. Gonna leave that for now as we kind of turn our attention back towards the overall map state. Lanes have returned to normal as the 2v2s and the 1v1s have found themselves once again. Advantage in terms of experience gain for Elk as he's nearing closer to level 5. But with the jungler on the top side of the map, unlikely the BLG is going to set up for any dives in the immediate future.
Gold card locked in. Shun now revealing his presence in the bush. The hook shot going forward. The wall dive will not connect. Kiin now ghosting, just trying to dance around them. Ma not going to connect. The stun from the Viego. Wasted. Both sides content to back off. Canyon and Kiin taking this advantage to try and push this wave forward.
Good movement from Kiin. Shun looking for the opportunity there because the wave state is really rough, and Camille, Sejuani extremely strong early, particularly against something like the TF. If you can force the flash, post level 6 play becomes extremely easy, but Canyon was already pathing up, seeing the wave state that his top laner is in, ends up bailing him out, and nothing going to get forced outside of that ghost.
Ultimately, the gold pretty close. So when you look at, in totality, what occurred in the lane swap, Gen.G successful in avoiding the early Ashe Kalista levels. Of course, it's still hard here, as you can see, and as was mentioned
bear
earlier.
in mind, it was BLG that swapped.
Yeah.
They were the ones intent on actually avoiding some of these early levels. It may have even been for Bin's sake to avoid some of the early aggression from Twisted Fate. Overall, it seems that both teams are pretty content with the state of the game. BLG's bot lane looking for a bit of a trade here. Nice damage put down onto Lehends as the grubs are spawning. I wonder if we'll see another swap from BLG so they can... Oh, hang on a minute.
A few extra autos coming out. Lehends taking a ton of damage.
So now you're thinking about a dive. Jun hovering around the bot side of the map. Level 5 ticked over. He's going to make his way straight towards this tower. The vision going to be cleared out, and they're going to be forced to back away. There's no way you're allowed to stay here, Peyz. You are going to get dived.
Teleport is available, though, and Lehends will be full health. See if they try and dive.
They might dive him anyway.
BLG. Do they want to take the risk? Peyz exposed off to the side. Dash forward. Arctic Assault not immediately going to connect. Follow-up's done. Not quite there. Peyz flashing out. But Elk is still coming. First blood for BLG. Lehends the last man stunning under this tower. In the meantime, Grubs drop, but the redive could come through.
Just Lehends is not enough. Yeah, Nautilus had a lot of CC, but he doesn't have his ultimate available just yet. And even with Shun not finding the immediate connect, Peyz, so much damage from this double Halo Blades.
I mean, this is just classic BLG. Like, they set it up wonderfully. The wave was stacked. They took a nice trade in advance, ready for the jungler to come through. And as you rightly said, even though the TP comes in, it doesn't matter. The good news for Gen.G is Canyon's able to secure on the top side the 3 grubs. He's stealing away a bunch of camps. You'll notice the bin is completely isolated as all of those topside camps are disappearing. But Jun, he's not too upset about that. He's keeping even, he's on pace with Canyon, very close to level 6 himself. It's just Bin that could be in some trouble.
Top side, Bin beginning to walk away, has a slight XP advantage from the earlier swap. Walking it now, it's gonna get stunned, it's gonna get locked up. Bin flashing out, but the gold card still connects. Nowhere to go, the hook shot, not gonna connect. Canyon taking the kill.
Really big moment there. Kiin is level 5, so Bin might have been looking for something. Canyon sneaks behind, finds access, because while the bot lane is going in favor of BLG as expected, great job from Shun towards the top half of the map. Chovy in the 1v1 has not been really distracted and has been Chovying it up as he does with almost 10 CS per minute, whereas Knight have struggled a little bit. Now Bin, no flash as well.
I mean, that was a bit of a blunder from Bin. He should have expected that his top side was not safe. He knows that his jungler's bot, Dragon, has just been secured. I guess that he expected someone to be coming from the river, not from behind him, but he does end up making a mistake, ends up getting punished for it. Peyz now doesn't have flash.
Using the mist to make it out. And Elk, yeah, if you've missed it, of course, lethality, Kalista, flavor of the tournament, incredibly powerful on this patch, and that's a good indication of why.
Normally, Senna can shrug off a lot of the harass with her Q, but when it comes to Kalista, they got an early kill as well. Elk sitting on obviously playing in the Senna, but even in the lane and in the game state, a really, really large amount of gold. So if he hits his spears, if Peyz isn't able to dodge those, he is going to be in diving range again, and Knight might be looking to impact that lane as well on his Ahri.
Kiin, the Destiny available, is wandering down. Xun topside right now, unaware that TF is not coming to the party. Knight looking to make the dive happen. Gen.G in a fantastic position to punish, to respond to this telegraph play. Knight dashing over the wall, though, and it's more than enough damage to kick the play off in their favor. Destiny here, but he's already been charmed up, and it seems like the Destiny on the bottom side is death. Reset coming through. Kiin, a few seconds left, managed to take up the support too. BLG get one, but Gen.G immediately fire back.
I was surprised that Gen.G let that happen. They watched Knight walk all the way from mid into bot. Canyon was there to cover, but Kiin was ready with the ultimate. It's going to cost them a lot of plates in the top side, but they do shut down the aggression from BLG as they find 2 kills of their own.
Peyz still ends up going down though. Now they do spot Xun here, but as you're saying, the Camille in particular with the Sheen can do a whole lot of pushing, but because Kiin actually picked up a lot of the kills, gold's still going to favor him. And you see with Bin and Xun both towards the topside jungle, Peyz had to wait for Lehends, so a lot of minions getting lost to the turret there.
You'll notice as well, they left Knight in the bot lane to catch that wave, and they moved Elkin on after those respawns to actually catch the mid wave. So now Chovy finds himself in, well, I was going to say a bit of a 2v1, but on working with Xun to control that top side, get some deep vision. Now they have their eyes on Chovy.
Multiple members committed. Flashback from Chovy is good. They get the summoner spell. Spectral Mod just a threaten from Canyon, wandering up. Of course, 26 seconds till the Grub spawn already. The bottom lane from Gen.G positioned on the top side of the map. They're set up to have control, to have a man advantage. What's the response going to be from the side of BLG?
We look back at this dive. Knight was spotted on vision. He makes it look easy. Ults over, connects the Q, gets out to safety. But it was this response from Gen.G. The Twisted Fate ultimate is fast. The chain CC comes down onto Elk. Canyon uses the reset to just burst out on with the Q. And they're able to find 2 quick kills in exchange for 1.
Peyz there using the cleanse as well, but that was not a charm. That was a Q. Ends up taking the full damage, and that is big because it does mean with that kill that Knight is now sitting on parity again with Chovy, as here BLG trying to deny the full stacks as Gen.G looking to contest.
Set up here, 4 members of Gen.G.
Knight TP.
Ready to come to the play. Kiin there as well. Xun just going to smite a Grub away. Gen.G, though, already have 3, can grab their 4th. That is the break point. So we'll have the mites to spawn on their next push.
Okay, I don't think BLG is too upset about that, but Gen.G being able to get the 4th one, not the end of the world either. This is going to be the TP coming out from Chovy.
Charm hits, nice timing from Knight.
Bit of a trade there, but plate still secured. So for the first time this matchup, Knight will find himself with a gold lead. A little bit behind in terms of farm, but not the end of the world. 80 carries now move their way towards mid lane. Dragon in a minute's time. I wouldn't be surprised if Gen.G choose to concede this, in all honesty. When you kind of look at those one-item spikes, Ahri, Kalista, very scary champions to have to fight, so maybe they just want to concede that for now. Maybe try and cross-map, funnel more plates onto the top side of the map. But we'll see how Gen.G is feeling as they're showing that they recognize BLG's aggression and they're willing to try and punish it.
I think one of the biggest problems that they have right now, Peyz wildly behind in terms of overall Senna stacks. Double-ranged lanes, not ideal for the Senna. Wants to be able to harass those melee champions. Hasn't been free to roam, has been getting targeted. So a lot more pressure falling onto the shoulders of the Gen.G topside to be that reliable damage output, to pick good fights, because Senna's going to need a lot of time to be relevant in this game.
Which, to be fair, for Gen.G, that's just a regular all day. Right? They've been in that position.
If anyone can make a game go long, it's Gen.G.
Yeah, particularly, and the big thing for me is that Kiin and Chovy are still in a great position here. Lehends has also fallen behind a decent amount in CS just due to movement on the map. The fact that he wasn't able to get to the wave towards topside earlier on thanks to the shove from Bin. I do agree with you though, Vedi. I think for Gen.G, you're sitting just pre-first item spike for Chovy and Kiin. You might let this one go. They're firing off an ultimate, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't want to risk it. If they can find hard engage with Lehends though and blow up one of these 80 carries, a lot of damage for BLG gets taken away.
We saw in the previous fight, Elk is important to this equation. Nice initial lockup, arrow going in, TPR to use, being channeled, stun only going to connect onto the tankiest member. Lehends shrugging that one off. Gen.G know what they want, and it's the Baron. Kiin trying to disengage with the gold card. Bin off to the side, not sure if they want to pick this fight. The Dragon was the objective, BLG forced to respect it.
I mean, Gen.G with just great control. They didn't even allow the fight to happen. Could Knight change this? Threatening Canyon. as he's going to be able to walk past. Knight, though, just at the very edge. BLG don't want to give away absolutely everything. They're zoning Gen.G away from the mid lane wave so that Elk can try and get another tower, but a nice TP from the Hens should actually deny that. So overall, Gen.G secured the Dragon, protect their plates, protect their towers, don't lose anyone.
Do see, though, BLG, they keep looking for these plays. Again, the top side, Camille, Ahri, and the Sejuani. So much Fred here to set up dives, but no one on Gen.G walking in just yet. Still, though, plays going to be going over to Bin, but just by the virtue of the early kills and the fact that Kiin has the TF passive, is still sitting at a pretty decent gold lead here. TF always going to feel very unfair in that regard. Bin does have the experience lead for now, though, and obviously Camille, once we hit 2 items, still going to be a really tough thing to deal with in the side lane.
I think a good call out, that 2-item breakpoint, really important to track, as it feels like a lot of the tank killing duty rests on the shoulders of Bin's. Lehends getting stronger and stronger. You saw when he TP'd into the mid lane, Elk autos him like 5 times. It does absolutely no damage.
I mean, BLG is always first to this top side objective, aren't they? Canyon gonna be spotted on the bot sides. They're gonna make the cross map happen. Oh, nice pressure from Gen.G in mids. Is there a collapse here from Bin?
Bin coming in from the side. Chovy potentially caught out here. Good initial lockup onto Bin. He's just going to hookshot wall dive out, and Gen.G calm, coordinated, disciplined around these fights. They trade tower for tower overall.
I mean, we're seeing some incredible macro from both teams, and Cronicler highlighted earlier, you can see how BLG is eager to try and skirmish. They're quite willing to look for these 2v2s, 3v3s. This arrow is another great example of just BLG fishing. They're really just kind of throwing multiple reels out, and they're seeing if Gen.G is biting onto any of them, but Gen.G isn't. They're not taking any of the bait. They're not overextending. They're putting pressure where they know they can. They're playing around the numbers well. They're cross-mapping effectively, and they're holding on to the gold to keep things even as they continue to scale up.
For Gen.G, they have been in this position so many times. Slow the game down. Don't allow your opponent to take over. In the LCK, no one has been able to match them when they get to play this slow and methodical game. Mid lane turret still standing very, very healthy, allowing Gen.G to play pretty aggressive. Canyon looking a little bit.
Good side step from Shun to dodge the initial Spectral Maw. Chovy, a big upfront damage right now. The Destiny coming in. Knight potentially caught out. Nice stun from Shun. The fail flash, though. That one's going to cost him in the midst of the entire team. Shockwave only connecting onto him, but Gen.G happy to have the pick. Canyon.
Gen.G will find a pick.
Good follow-up. Resetting. Now making out with the Spectral Maw. Kiin, gold card ready. Charm. Just to dissuade. Ball set up. Meanwhile, Bin split pushing in the side lane, but Gen.G happy to have the mid lane tower. Excellent pick.
Gonna be a big win there for Gen.G, and it's again the TF that is the difference maker. Kiin able to set up that play, even with BLG. Shun finds the ultimate, but doesn't get over the wall crucially, so Gen.G can invest a lot, ensure that they also get the mid lane turret and a lot of extra lane control, particularly when you can collapse so easily with a TF. It's a big win for Gen.G.
And I think the value of Kiin can't be overstated in this game. He's done a good job. Right, he went bot lane. He gave up some of that individual lead that he had on the top side to support the bottom side of the map. Has been there where he needs to be with the gold cards, using that TF ult to maximum efficiency. And here you see, it just makes the pick setup so simple.
I mean, the execution is clean. Flash hook from Lehends. Failed flash comes out from Jun. He knows that he's in danger, and a good body block comes out from Lehends as well to deny Jun any ability to get over the wall. Means that they do find the kill. No objectives on the map outside of those towers, which means that Gen.G can't really balloon this into anything significant. They do find themselves with an 800 gold lead for now. But this is, I think, what people wanted, right? I know it's not been a bloodthirsty game, but in terms of high-level play, this is a great demonstration of how effectively to cross-map. Bin being able to put so much pressure on a side lane is only going to continue to get stronger. It's crazy the fact that TF still has a gold lead, even though he's 30 CS, or 20 CS down, my apologies. But because of those 2 kills, because of the passive, because of the assists as well, even though Bin is putting all this pressure on a side lane, he's a full level up over Kiin. Kiin's leveraging his time spent overstacking by working with Gen.G to secure objectives and look for picks.
For Gen.G, this is the type of pace that they love. They want to play it slow. They want to keep control of the game. We saw in their series against top eSports in particular, the games that they lost was when there was over-aggression early that was punished very nicely, and Chaos. It snowballed from there. Chaos is their enemy, even in the Fnatic series. I remember Chovy afterwards was like, yeah, we tried to lean into it. And I think we can collectively agree it wasn't the best look as this Dragon about to come up.
Gen.G ready to take the fight. BLG don't have to fish anymore. 5 members stacked up. Gen.G looking to focus on the objective. Are they willing to risk the 50-50? Arrow into the Sejuani ultimate, locking up Chovy. Clutch pick, Knight ready to go to the wall. 2 stacks left remaining on, zoning away the rest of the team. But Gen.G realize they're going to lose the fight and instantly walk away. They want nothing to do with it. Charm connects on Lehends though, and that's a damn good start. In goes Bin. Hextech ultimatum. Kiin's got nowhere left to go. BLG obliterating Gen.G in the blink of an eye.
BLG finally take the control away from Gen.G and win a massive fight. They take the dragon back, they drop the Rift Herald bot, and BLG take a firm grasp over game 1.
Chovy getting hit by the arrow there, immediately followed up on by the rest of the team. A lot of resources have to be invested just to keep Bin away, but the extended chase of Ashe, of this Camille, of this Ahri, you're never going to be able to play around, and because of the earlier Herald, BLG grabbing in there as well and start accelerating the gold lead.
We'll need to watch back the play. How does Chovy get caught? Because he still has his flash up. Look at his positioning. He steps far too forward. There's no one in front of him to block. The follow-up knock-up, the charm, the chain CC was flawless from BLG. The single target worked out nicely. Knight did dash into the wall there, but he ends up making it work out regardless.
Main thing is, as long as you can keep finding these kills, the range extension on this Camille makes it so hard to reliably get away. Every single target getting singled out one by one, and Gen.G pay a heavy price.
You have the Ashe as well. Once BLG start winning the fight, it's so hard to bring it back in your favor without a tool like the Shockwave. 0-0 damage output from Canyon and Chovy, the clear story of that fight. Remember, Chovy doesn't get the luxury of packing Cleanse against so much upfront CC. Opted for the TP, and now it's Kiin who might just be in trouble. Knight taking his time. Shockwave going in, but it's not immediately going to connect. Knight just styling on him, and here comes Bin for the backup. 1-for-1 on the top side.
Kiin actually finds a kill and exchange after that collapse from BLG. But again, you can see BLG constantly looking for these picks, these skirmishes. The Baron is alive, and now Canyon's looking for something himself.
On Spectral Launch, barely does a connection, looking for the ball. 3, not quite going to get 4 stacks on the permafrost. Bin backing away. Tactical sweep, not going to hit. Both sides fishing for a bit more again, but not able to quite find the angle to start a fight. Root from Peyz won't connect. Bin gets the reset on the hookshot wall dive. Immediate combo now coming through, but it's Chovy going golden, caught out in the midst of the team, but he's got the front line now to protect him. Peyz continuing to rain down autos. They're not effective, but they just swayed a bit. Lehends picked off. Bin now running. Destiny on the way in. Kiin looking to shut down BLG. Gold card is quick. Elf trying to save the day. Retreat now coming through from BLG, making their way back into the river. Canyon not going to push for anything else.
It's again the extended chase from BLG is so insanely strong. There's arrows, there's volleys, there's Camille jumping in. So Gen.G, if they get caught in a position where they don't want to fight, and we see there, they seem so apprehensive because one of their largest damage sources is gone in Kiin. Chovy has to stopwatch immediately, has to flash as well, hasn't been able to really have an impact on this Orianna, and the team fighting from BLG has proven too much for Gen.G.
And the target on Chovy's head only gets more and more clear for the side of BLG. Doesn't have the arm guard, doesn't have the flash, has to play flawlessly in the fights to come. All of BLG probably going to look to take that Orianna down, take Chovy out of the equation already. The trap set, and in goes Knight, looking for Kiin, but the charm goes wide, as does the arrow. Kiin casually walking that one off, but now the hook, the re-engage. Canyon on the way in, he's fishing for a reset. He's already got one, but the soul won't come through as he doesn't get the assist. Nice pick to kick things off for Gen.G. Another gold card, going to connect onto Knight. Meanwhile, Bin in the mid lane, threatening the flanks. Gen.G just continue to find these angles.
I wonder if they use this as a Baron force. They have the Shockwave available for Chovy. They have the numbers advantage. They'll just settle for control for now. Dragon in 1 minute and 10 seconds. BLG have the opportunity to put themselves on Dragon Soul point. But BLG overstepping their hand a little bit there. Knight missing his charm. Gave Gen.G the opportunity to turn the fight around and actually find a pick themselves. The kill score is very close, the gold is very close. BLG have been taking more control over this game, but Gen.G are showing that they're not just out just yet.
So try to take this turret. Gen.G want to try and gain more map control, but you see again, so much of the damage still insanely big. This is a farming Nautilus, but doesn't feel as tanky as he did in the past. BLG won't be paying more than that. Gen.G happy with the kill, but that'll be all they get.
Now we see Bin ticking over, crossing that threshold. 2 items, level 13. The Camille really getting scary at this stage of the game. Arm Guard comes in for Kiin. A defensive adaptation might lower his damage output, but I think he sees his role very clearly. Gold cards, looking for the picks, looking for the setup. It's not about the extended fight.
This fight might be the one that decides the game. If you take too bad of a loss here, that is going to be the Baron possibly falling as well. We'll see. Gen.G, they're TPing in. Chovy just now finished his Zhonya's. A lot of defensive cooldowns available for Gen.G, and they have first move in the river.
Gen.G consistently get to the dragon first in this game.
The ward.
They're looking for the pick.
Gold card, the point click onto On.
That's a big ulti.
Traded. Arrow connecting, but only onto Lehends. Knight immediately gonna fall up. He knows he can burst through the Nautilus. Nautilus gets the ult up to try to engage, but there's Bin on the backside. Hextech ultimatum. Jungler deleted. BLG out for blood. Knight dashing in one more time. All of Gen.G getting run down. Chovy goes golden, but he'll just watch his own demise in slow motion. The shockwave does nothing.
No one is left except for Peyz as he's forced to retreat at the hands of BLG. 5 members strong will secure the dragon. They're gonna get the Baron too, and just great target selection from BLG. Bin with an excellent flank to take out the jungler, with the front line of Lehends dissipating from the carries of BLG, mean that it is a one-sided fight and a Baron for BLG.
The one front line that Gen.G have evaporates in seconds. Knight locking him down, ensuring that Lehends doesn't make his way out. As the bounty pops up, Gen.G watch the Baron get taken away, and BLG take a decisive lead.
And you see here, they just have so many tools. The initial pick looks good, but BLG can just throw out cooldown after cooldown.
Lehends has to walk up here because otherwise Kiin is going to end up going down. But Shun has taken a lot of the damage. He doesn't care. And Canyon, he needs the resets, but he doesn't get the time. Bin takes him out immediately. And once the front line and the resets are gone, the rest of Gen.G just helplessly watches as BLG take over the team fight.
Bin and Canyon met back in 2020, the World Finals, Suning versus Damwon. That one went the way of Canyon. Bin has been a bit of an international mainstay and is looking to get a bit of personal revenge. They're now sieging onto the mid tower with the Baron buff. Gen.G forced to play on the defensive as we see the first significant gold advantage of this game.
And there's no more room for error on the side of Gen.G. Across the board, flashes are still up for BLG, even after a team fight that one-sided. They used the stopwatch, they used the Seekers. Luckily, Chovy's gonna have his flash cooldown back up, but they need to play this flawlessly.
Gonna have to be looking for a multi-one shockwave. It's gonna be that combo of Lehends and Chovy starting it up. I don't think you're gonna catch anyone inside. The members on BLG are so slippery, and if you try to collapse on Bin, I'm pretty sure he's just going to murder whoever comes for him. So a multi-man shockwave, Elk and On in particular are still susceptible to that, but as you pointed out, Drakos, the summoners are available. So Gen.G first they gotta find a way to force those, then they gotta actually get in a position where they can get onto this backline. I don't know if they're gonna be able to.
Chovy keeping the ball up, getting a little bit of vision, just trying to survive the siege for now. Not give anything away for free, but not overcommit and risk anything either. Gen.G disciplined in the face of the push from BLG, but the arrow going in onto Chovy, kicking things off. Chovy has the cooldowns necessary to make it out. Goes golden to interrupt Hextech ultimatum. It's Knight waiting over the wall, instantly trying to fall for the charm, and it's flawless from Shun to lock down the mid laner, but they're fighting in the choke. The Senna just free firing. BLG slowly starting to turn the fight back in, and it's Knight again. The body block from Lehends is crucial, but Gen.G being forced back.
That's the gold lead there, Gen.G. Even though Chovy gets out, they get a decent shockwave. They can't actually get through that choke point. The members on BLG just on low enough. Canyon not able to get the reset. BLG will take the turret nonetheless.
I'm impressed that Gen.G's able to keep everyone alive after that little skirmish, but BLG still walk away with the tower. Crypt Bloom now finished for Knight as he continues to get stronger. And this is looking to be BLG's game 1.
And ultimately, again, we're in a situation where it just gets harder for Gen.G. BLG only getting further ahead. Chovy, again, in the context of that play, using the hourglass, using his flash. Another 5 minutes he has to wait before he can get out to safety. Luckily for him, On not quite connecting onto him, will hit Canyon in the meantime. but has to, again, play perfectly, dodge everything, and find the shockwave for Gen.G to come back in this one.
Look at how BLG control the vision. They just suffocate you out. Look for picks.
Fishing for the angle. Peyz, he doesn't even need to hit the charm. Peyz out of the fight.
The damage is done. They now again have the numbers advantage. TP being forced to commit here from Lehends to try and keep this tower alive, but Knight holds the flank, zones Gen.G away, and that's another tower secured.
All the Gen.G have left are their inhibitors. Gold lead now up to 7k. Chemtech Soul about to come through here for BLG with that Baron. Feels like Gen.G, they're gonna have to hope for a miracle, someone overextend. But you see as well, Bin never walks up in a silent unless he has assistance, unless there are people shadowing him, which makes it so hard to find a collapse, to try and find a pick here for Gen.G.
And BLG just trying to keep Gen.G in their base, knowing that Chemtech Soul is right around the corner. 45 seconds counting down as Gen.G fight to just regain control of their own jungle. BLG ready for that fight, but Gen.G grouping, trying to force man advantage to mid, get a bit of pressure back.
I mean, my concern for Gen.G is whether or not they actually have enough damage. This Orianna isn't it right now. And BLG's front line, as I guess minimal as it is in the form of Jun, is very tanky. You think about all the mobility on the side of BLG as well. How much space is Chovy actually going to garner, as they don't even have access to this dragon. On is zoning them away himself. You could just have Shun and Bin take the dragon as a duo, get themselves the soul, and then move over towards the Baron. Gen.G doing the smart thing, trying to get what vision they can around the objective that might bring them back into the game.
Additionally, Lehends, who is supposed to be the front line, as they are going to give up this objective, as you said. Lehends doesn't have more gold than On. One of these two players is farming, and the other is not. It's the global gold, it's the amount of objectives that BLG were able to get, but it means that Lehends, realistically, you want to be at least sitting on another item, and yes, you're still playing into a Camille, you're still going to fall in the longer fight, but because of this, even if you are able to get a hook from Lehends, he's gonna be shredded like paper. He's level 12. He's barely above Peyz.
And look, of all the champions I wouldn't want to be against as a tank, it's probably level 16 Camille piloted by Bin. I don't think there is literally anything.
It's not great, Drakos.
If it was Vayne top, it'd be even scarier. This is probably second place in my eyes for most scary possible opposition. So it's a tough road. Again, Gen.G, I think they did so much well in the early game, but Peyz put in a big deficit, and that single fight around Drake put BLG in such a commanding position. Now the arrow going to connect on the canyon. Still has the ulti. He can try to use it to get out. Kiin has used the Destincy. Shockwave only going to hit one. Nice use of the Fate's Call coming in from Elk. Bin on the flank is going to get spotted out. Gold card goes in. Follow-up not going to come through from Bin. In the meantime, Lehends trying to make the difference. Dash in. Knight ready to go. Ulti already used. Lehends just getting cut through. The damage not there from Gen.G. And now Bin's in the fight. Peyz instantly deleted. Tax sweep hitting two. Slow is crucial. Bin backing off. And the rest of BLG stepping up, looking to knock Gen.G out of this game one.
Gen.G tried to find a desperate fight, but Chovy doesn't have the ultimate anymore, which means that Lehends is engaged. There's no follow-up. There's no wombo combo. And Gen.G unable to take anyone down.
The White Tigers of the LCK are the prey in game one. They are constantly chased by this mobility and pick potential from BLG. Canyon is going to try for a steal, but he will be too late.
Arrow already connecting, or whiffing, excuse me. Didn't quite get the angle as the Baron will go down, and Bin just continues to zone the rest of the team away. Gen.G wanted the fire. They wanted to face BLG at full strength. So many of their best champions given over, and they're experiencing the might of the LPL first seed firsthand.
And it's Canyon that gets initiated on to start with. Knight trying to get that level 16 before committing to the pick. Still doesn't quite get it after all the skirmishing. I like the engage from Lehends here. A nice knock-up sets up for Gen.G, but where's the follow-up? It's not really there. The shockwave is already used in the earlier exchange. Bin finds his way onto Peyz, and at this point, there's nothing that Gen.G can do but run for their lives.
Problem there is the Fate's Call was forced by Chovy's ultimate, which in of itself, if you kill On, you might have an angle, but because of Kiin's stopwatch, Lehends has no choice but to try and force that engage. But because there is no ultimate, just nothing that follows up, no damage really there for Gen.G. Inhibitors are still standing. That's something that they're going to try and hold on to the best that they can, but I don't think it's going to be the case for much longer with this Baron now in play.
And there's no good fight left for Gen.G, just degrees of bad. They have to prey on their own individual skill. on flawless use of cooldowns if they want to find a way back. AK deficit, BLG should just have this game one in the bag. Disciplined push, split across 2 lanes, mid lane inhibitor falling. All of Gen.G grouping on the bottom side. Ready to force a fight. It might be their only angle back. Chovy trying to zone away, but this assault is relentless. BLG just keeping the pressure up, keeping that Baron buff in mid, empowering that cannon minion, threatening the base. It is cold, it is controlled from the side of BLG on what could be a push to end the game.
Relentless pressure from multiple lanes means that Gen.G, they have very limited defenses left. Bin now making his way towards top. They realize they don't have much left to play on with mid lane, but it's a slow and steady siege. Gen.G are going to need a miracle to turn this game around.
Gold card to get the cleanse initially. Sidestep on the arrow. Positive cooldown exchange for Gen.G, but BLG, they're not risking anything. They immediately back up.
Problem here is, first you have to get through the Edge of Night, then you have to get through the cleanse, and then you still have the flash if you somehow find a way on top of Elk. Slow but surely, the base of Gen.G getting better down. 35 seconds left on the Red Bull Baron power play. Gen.G, they're still holding on, but with Bin in that top side, that turret's going to be gone in seconds.
Tower deleted, of course. Trinity Force Camille shredding through. Hook not going to connect from Lehends. BLG again across multiple lanes, putting the pressure onto Gen.G. Red Bull Baron power play, 17 seconds and counting, wanting to make the best of these empowered waves. 1:30 till Elder. Perhaps the final nail in the coffin for Gen.G here in game one.
I mean, incredible stuff from BLG. When we looked at this draft, we expected a lot of early aggression from this team, and they did find a lot of good early dives, but it didn't really result in a massive snowball effect. Gen.G were good at being proactive around their neutrals. They had good grub control in terms of a response to the dive. They were able to contest that Cloud Dragon, and it looked like they were in a good position heading into the mid game, but when it came down to the team fights, this is something that many forget. BLG is still one of the best team fighting teams in the world. You don't just get to win the LPL by not being good at team fights, and with great target selection and patient play, they have just outperformed Gen.G in the fights.
Also testament to something that we saw in the T1 series as well, that BLG, even though they love to play a really aggressive style in lane, they're not reliant on it. Gen.G, I think maybe underestimating, as you were saying, VEdius, the team fighting prowess of this team. Gen.G, they're still in the game, but one mistake now, the highway to the Nexus is going to be open. It's again going to have to be an absolutely impeccable combo.
I mean, BLG are showing nothing but respect to Gen.G still. BLG with the Elder spawning in 10 seconds. Going to use this to round out the game. And again, they continue to deny access into the jungle, limiting Gen.G's ability to even contest the objective. Gen.G, they're looking.
Bit of harassment on to on, arrow going in, perfectly timed from on, Peyz called out coming out as well, and the instant turn back charm, gonna be somewhat mitigated, excellent shockwave, the turn, but do they have the follow-up? BLG, can they still win the fight? The shockwave hits 3, but it's Bin on the backside, in the nick of time, the flank, it took a bit of time, but Bin delivering in the final moments of the fight.
Gen.G got the best combo they could have gotten, but it just wasn't enough. The wallet was too big, and BLG will cement themselves as victors in game one.
Too little, too late. And we've been waiting for Chovy versus Knight for a very long time, and in this first game, Gen.G says Knight will give you your Ahri, and I think that they regret it.
Incredible game one from BLG. It felt like so much of what they're known for, that early aggression, had been mitigated, but the mid-game fight so heavily favoring them. Gen.G sent back to the drawing board. Will need to show us more in game two, a different approach, a different strategy if they want to take down BLG.
For me, Gen.G, Chovy in particular, having a really rough game on the Ahri. He is the cornerstone. He is the reason why this team has 4 back-to-back wins in the LCK. First guy to ever do it domestically. He needs to step up in the next game.
Have to see if it's going to happen. Of course, in the meantime, don't forget to log into lolesports.com using your Riot ID to earn exclusive MSI 2024 drops. And in the meantime, let's head on over to the analyst desk. Let's talk about that game one. So much happened.